A lot of people are homeschooling more during COVID. Many times, sometimes it's forced and sometimes it's voluntary. But the more you have these sort of homeschool pods, now you've really got an indoctrination machine, right?
It's an expose of that Christian homeschooling movement, because if you do the history of it, you find out that R.J. Rushdoony, he was the one who really got the homeschooling and Christian school movement off the ground back in the 1970s and 80s. And his vision was, as you say, if we could just indoctrinate, or he would say inculcate, but generations of young children with this biblical worldview, eventually there'll be enough of them whereby they will take over the society and eventually the world.
So how screwed are we? I mean, if they can't win in the culture, they're going to go and try to, take over these cells or pods and then use those as their circles of influence. But meanwhile, we're seeing an increasing rise of the nones, or non-religious people not engaged with religion. How do these two forces play against each other, just from your perspective?
Well, I think I mentioned before, for example, the Texas abortion law. There's also another one in Missouri that's coming up for the Supreme Court hearing. What they're doing now is they're just trying to play the political game. As I say, it's a long, long game. But for example, it's a pipeline. They think of it as a pipeline. So, for example, let's imagine a person like Madison Cawthorn. Okay, here's a guy who's out there promoting the big lie and all the rest of it, but he's a homeschool graduate. He went through the homeschool system, so he would have been indoctrinated with that Dominionist sort of worldview, because a lot of the literature, the curriculum is just infused with that theology. Then he goes off to Patrick Henry College, which is expressly built by Michael Ferris, who was one of the founders of the Homeschool Legal Defense Association back in, I think it was 2004, with the aim of getting homeschool graduates into the political and legal fields. That's what Patrick Henry College is all about. So they've got interns. They had interns in the Bush era, the Trump era. They've got people working for judges and politicians.